am Elizabeth Woodville, Queen of England, though my path to the throne was far from ordinary. Born to Sir Richard Woodville and Jacquetta of Luxembourg, I came into the world destined for neither grandeur nor the crown. Yet, fate is a curious weaver, and my life became entwined with the tumultuous tapestry of England during the Wars of the Roses. In 1461, the winds of change swept through the kingdom. Edward of York claimed victory at Towton and ascended the throne as Edward IV. England trembled, torn between the red rose of Lancaster and the white of York. I, a young widow with 2 sons, lived quietly at Grafton, far removed from the chaos. My late husband, Sir John Grey, had fallen fighting for the Lancastrians, leaving me to protect our legacy. My chance encounter with Edward in 1464 forever altered my life. I had sought the king's favour to reclaim lands seized after my husband's death. Standing beneath an ancient oak, I pled my case. Edward, regal and magnetic, was unlike any man I had ever known. Though our meeting began with practicality, it blossomed into something deeper. He was captivated, and I, despite his Yorkist allegiance, found myself drawn to him. Against all expectation, Edward chose me, a woman of no great fortune or title, to be his queen. Our secret marriage, held in the small chapel of my family home, was scandalous. When news of it emerged, the court was in uproar. How could the King of England marry a mere knight's widow? Yet Edward defended his choice, and in 1465, I was crowned queen. My new position brought both splendor and strife. As queen, I sought to elevate my family. My brothers and sisters were married into powerful noble houses, a strategy that made us enemies as much as allies. The Earl of Warwick, once Edward's staunch supporter, grew resentful of my influence. The Kingmaker, as he was called, had hoped to control Edward. My marriage disrupted his plans. By 1469, tensions reached a boiling point. Warwick, in league with my husband's own brother George, Duke of Clarence, turned against Edward. They captured the king and sought to rule through him. I, meanwhile, fled with my children to sanctuary. Those months were harrowing, for I feared not only for my life but for the survival of my husband's reign. Edward's escape and return to power in 1470 marked a turning point. Yet our victory was short-lived. Warwick, now allied with the Lancastrian Queen Margaret of Anjou, invaded England. Edward was forced to flee abroad, leaving me, heavily pregnant, vulnerable in Westminster Abbey. There, within the sacred walls of sanctuary, I gave birth to my son, Edward, Prince of Wales. The bells of the Abbey rang with hope even as danger loomed outside. Throughout these years, I learned the harsh realities of power. To be queen was not merely to bask in luxury but to navigate treachery, to endure whispers and plots. I bore the weight of my family's ambitions and the expectations of a divided nation. My love for Edward sustained me, as did my faith that our cause was just. By the close of 1470, Edward prepared to reclaim his throne. I waited, steadfast, as the storm of war gathered again. Though my heart longed for peace, I understood that England's crown came with blood and sacrifice. My story, forged in love and conflict, had only just begun, but I stood resolute, ready to face whatever destiny demanded.